All right, I told you a little bit before about some very strong news coming out of Target. Even though the stock is dipping a little bit today, its earnings report, revenues blowing away all sorts of estimates here. The company on the wire is now saying that it does see things picking up, and the stimulus measure will be the means by which Americans have the propensity with those stimulus checks and the rest to go out and spend some more. Enter Senator Rand Paul, the Kentucky Republican, former presidential candidate, who's not quite a fan of the stimulus. That would probably be putting it mildly. But, Senator, when you hear Target saying it's going to help people get out to its stores and buy stuff, what do you think?
Well, my first thought would be, why don't we give people $2,000 every month, or maybe $2,000 every week? I mean, why don't we give everybody $100,000? I mean, I would love to have $100,000 to go spend at Target, but it's a sort of foolish economic sense, makes no economic sense. Sure, it stimulates things, but it destroys the currency and destroys the foundation of the country. And so I think it's a really bad idea, and people with common sense should think through this. Is anything really free in this world? Do you ever get anything without work? I mean, does it make sense that we shake the money tree and give people free money and it's actually going to work? No, it works in the short run, just like Keynes talked about. In the short run, stimulus is good, and in the long run, people like Keynes and others acknowledge that we'll all be dead, so who cares about the future? But I do care about the future. I care about my kids and my grandkids. I care about the country. So no, it's a foolish idea, and we shouldn't do this.
All right, I'll put you down as not impressed. So let me get your, Senator, your take on where this is going. The president is going to be meeting with key Democrats today and trying to cobble together something. But there's a division within even the Democratic ranks on this. We understand that Elizabeth Warren is still itching to get that minimum wage hike in this stimulus measure, even advising Kamala Harris, the vice president, to force it in and you go ahead and challenge the parliamentarian on this. Can you do that? I mean, if the parliamentarian rules on something, isn't the parliamentarian word final?
No, they can overturn the chair, and that's called the nuclear option. It's been done before on Supreme Court and appeals court as far as having a simple majority. Yeah. But essentially, it gets rid of the filibuster, and if they overturn the chair on this, that would mean from now on, budget bills can have anything you want to stick in them. And so basically, a budget bill would be a repository for thousands of different bills, and they would all pass with a 51% margin in the Senate. So many of us who believe that the institutional filibuster protects us from lurching too far to the right or to the left would be very, very troubled if this happens. And we have to hope, to goodness sakes, that there's at least one or two sane Democrats who will say, we don't want the country to go this quickly headed down the road toward socialism.
What do you think of Mitt Romney and Senator Cotton's idea to hike the wage, not to that level, to $10 or in that vicinity and over 4 or 5 years? Would you be open to that, or should this be discussed at all?
I'd say there's bad ideas and then there's less bad ideas. $10 minimum wage is less bad than 15, but anytime you set the market wage or the government wage above the market wage, you cause institutional unemployment. The people who are hurt the worst by this, in study after study, are teenagers, particularly black teenagers, people trying to get their first job. People have to realize you could set the minimum wage at $50 an hour. That doesn't make you compassionate. It makes you foolish, because you're cutting out all the people who would earn less than that could provide a functional service. Look, all three of my boys worked minimum wage jobs, not because it's a great end job, but it's a great beginning job. It's good to learn the work ethic, to show up on time. And if you don't get those jobs as teenagers, you may not develop the work ethic you need to get into the workplace.
Senator, I know you did not go to CPAC. I'd be curious, though, one of the themes of CPAC, besides the attention the president enjoyed and, the straw poll doing quite well, as you were in several straw polls in past years, but this idea that we got to do more, go big on stimulus and all of that stuff. It didn't sound like a Republican gathering to me. What did you think?
Well, all I can say is Donald Trump has yet to win more than the Paul family. My dad and I think, have the record for most CPAC wins, so he's got a little ways to go on that. But I would say the debate is good, and the future of the Republican Party, I think, should be limited government. We shouldn't be the party of handing checks out to people. So that's a real honest debate we ought to have. We're not the party.
I heard a lot of their stuff, Senator. They're not. I mean, between that and spending an inordinate amount of time bashing people like Mitt Romney and Liz Cheney. I mean, that's a far cry from the Ronald Reagan 11th Commandment days, not saying anything bad about fellow Republicans. What's happened to the party?
Well, I think we're going to have to figure out where we go from here, and there will be a robust debate. A lot of the discussion down there was about breaking up big tech. As a libertarian-minded Republican, I'm not big on having government break up industry. Even when I disagree every day, almost all day long with big tech, I'm for looking for ways to get rid of obstacles to new competition coming into place. I'm for using personally other sources that are less biased. Look, I don't like YouTube taking down a speech I made on the Senate floor. I don't like YouTube taking down a committee hearing. But if they're going to show themselves to be biased, I'm eventually going to quit using them. And I'm going to encourage people to go to other forums. And maybe there'll be the new Mark Zuckerberg who will start a Facebook and make $1 gazillion. I tell these young tech entrepreneurs every day, 40% of the country hates big tech. Become the new big tech, and you'll get 40% of the country immediately come to your services. Shouldn't be that hard to be the next billionaire by having an open forum that is not biased. And Facebook and Twitter, they need to wake up because, look, I'm one that's not big on breaking them up, but I'm unhappy with them every day about their censorship, private censorship.
You mentioned billionaires, Senator. Your colleagues, Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders, are proposing a 3% wealth tax on billionaires. It would be pennies on the dollar, they say, and they can easily do it. It can raise a lot of revenue. What do you say?
I suggest they look to Sweden. They're always saying, oh, how great Sweden is. Sweden had a wealth tax, and guess what? All the rich people left for decades, but they got rid of their wealth tax and they invited their wealthy back, founder of IKEA, Bjorn Borg, others. They finally got back when the government got to their senses. A wealth tax will destroy our country. It's not good for our country. We want to reward people who sell stuff to people voluntarily and make money because people buy their services or their products. That's the American way. And this class warfare, punitive stuff that some of these Democrats want, it's un-American, it's bad for business, and it's bad for everybody because capitalism uplifts all. We have less poverty in the world right now because of capitalism, trade, and division of labor, all the things Adam Smith predicted, but the class warfare people need to get a grip on what happens. When they take over, we become Venezuela, and I don't want that for our country either.
Senator, if you'll indulge me, it sounded like Donald Trump at CPAC was teeing up another presidential run. It also sounded like other Republicans there would hold back on their own run if he did. Now, you ran for president. Many people say you're interested in running again, or they hope that you do run again. But would his presence affect your decision if it came to that?
Could you forward the names of those people who said I should run again? I really need to meet them. I don't know.
Your wife and your three teenagers.
All right, they should not be listed as anonymous then. No, I think the future of the party is yet to be determined. I've been a supporter of the president, but I've had disagreements with the president, and those will go forward. They're honest debates, and we'll figure out by 2024 what's going on. But we do have to be a bigger party. He excited and brought a lot of working class voters to our party. We need to keep that and build upon that. But we also have to increase the multicultural ethnic makeup of our party. We got to get soccer moms back in our party. So there's some things that he did great and some things that we need to expand. And so I think that's the debate we have as we move forward. And unless you get more than 3 people to call me, not including my family, I'm going to take some convincing. So.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Senator, thank you. Very much. Senator Rand Paul in Washington on that. And he's right. Between he and his dad, a lot of straw poll wins at CPAC. For what it's worth, they could change very, very quickly.